How do you see this new situation, this new relation of forces in the world, in which the leadership is changing, power is being shared? How do you see the continuation of the defense of the human rights values?
Well, first of all, let me express my thanks for the nice comments about my life so far and about the work of the Carter Center, which I do appreciate. And also let me express my pride and gratitude for this prize, because it's a recognition of some of the ambitions in my life that have been realized. But also, I think the prize is very important to perpetuate the unique and special history and heritage, the culture, the language of the people, the Catalan people. So I'm proud to do both, to accept the honor and also to continue the recognition of this wonderful part of the world. You're right, the world has changed tremendously since I was first elected president. I inherited the role of a leader of the two superpowers on earth. The United States, which I think was the #1 superpower, and the Soviet Union. It was during the Cold War when the preeminent concern I had personally, and many people on earth, was the threat of a nuclear confrontation or nuclear exchange, which would have been catastrophic. We had a need then of, I would say, two things. One was a commitment to human rights, because almost every nation in Latin America was a military dictatorship when I became president. And the other thing was to promote peace. For 25 years before I was president, there had been 4 wars between the Arab world and Israel, all led by Egypt, the only Arab country that had adequate weaponry to challenge Israel. It was Soviet weaponry then. And so my goal as president was to promote human rights on a global basis, and also to try to promote peace for all nations, and particularly for the Middle East, which I thought then and think now is the greatest threat maybe to a conflagration that would spread beyond the Holy Land itself to many other countries. I'm not sure that the commitment to global human rights is as strong now as it was 25 years ago. The United States is no longer the leader as a pristine voice for human rights because of the aftermath of attack on 9/11, 2001. So the world is much more complicated, and the United States is in the role of having to share authority and also political influence with many other countries.
I would make a statement. I don't know if you would agree with me, and I would like to see your reaction. I do think that we don't need a peace process. What we need is peace. And I think we get entangled in processes and we never reach peace. Do you think that the moment has come to really cut the word process to the minimum and really bring peace?
To the Middle East peace process, if Israel will withdraw from their occupation of territory in Lebanon, in Syria, and in Palestine, we would have peace. It's just that simple. And I think that the continued persecution of the Palestinian people is a challenge to the entire world.
Mr. President, do you think we could really see a world without nuclear weapons in the foreseeable future?
Well, I pray for that accomplishment, and I have some hope for it. As you know, better than I again, there are 3 different moves now outside the official Non-Proliferation Treaty Agreement for that purpose. One is the so-called Global Zero movement. Another one is organized by Australia and Japan. And the third is by 4 distinguished Americans, 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, including Henry Kissinger and Sam Nunn, and former Secretary of State George Shultz and Bill Perry. All three of them are working toward the same goal, to have step-by-step reductions in the nuclear arsenals, leading toward ultimate zero. And I think that President Obama, in his early speech to the U.S. UN General Assembly, expressed a commitment to the same goal. And small steps have been taken with the Soviet Union primarily to have some reductions.
I think there are two other big problems that affect everybody. One is poverty, and I would like, for somebody like you who have spent so much time trying to help people in distress, in poverty, in Africa, what could we do?
What is the greatest challenge of the world? And my answer was the growing or increasing chasm between rich people and poor people. And it's remarkable when you look at the statistics, how that difference is becoming greater every year between the very rich and the very poor, both by nation and also within countries.
Preoccupied, concerned about the role of China in Africa?
No, I'm not. I'm more friendly toward China than many people in my country. I've seen extraordinary improvements made in China in freedom. They still have some problems with Tibet and with Taiwan, but in general, China is much more a free society, even politically and diplomatically, as well as economically, which is complete freedom. So I don't think that the threat from China is negative in Africa. The Carter Center has programs in 35 different countries in Africa, the poorest and most needy countries. And we see the Chinese, they're ubiquitous. They're all over China. And they're quite helpful to the governments there. The Chinese are looking for raw materials for their rapidly increasing need as the economy grows and so forth in China. But I think in general their relationship with the African countries has been benevolent.
How would you suggest to, after Copenhagen, after the failure,
Yes.
supposed to be a failure in Copenhagen, we're going to meet again in Cancun at the end of the year, how would you think it should be the fastest, the most efficient manner to tackle this problem from the political point of view? What geometry, what type of organization, group of countries you will recommend to try to get together in order to solve this problem at the first step after the failures, I said, that we had in Copenhagen?
Well, let me review a little history. When I became president, we were importing 8.6 million barrels of oil per day. And we implemented a comprehensive energy package. And in 5 years, we reduced that by 50% to 4.3 million barrels per day. Now, it's 12 million barrels per day. So when I was president here, when I left there, now it's here. And I think the Tokyo round, so-called, and then the meeting that was held under George H.W. Bush, George Bush Sr. in Rio de Janeiro, set a very good global target for reducing the consumption of oil and other petroleum fuels. I don't see any way for the world community to address this issue effectively without the leadership of the United States of America.